Starting in 3, 2, 1. Folks, we are back. I feel snug as a bug in a rug. This is your guy, your boy, Tommy Gayan, TG here for Tommy Talk. Good to be back, boys and girls. And you know what? You see me wearing my patented turtleneck right now. It's not quite cold enough for this quite yet, but the last couple days I've been feeling a little chill in the air. That little itty bitty chill going around. You know what that means? Fall is creeping up around the corner. It's very exciting, and that means it is football season. Ooh boy. And it's a treat to be back with you for another great football season. We get to appreciate every football season we get. And you know what? Even though it sucks when it's gone, it makes us appreciate it even more. There's a little life lesson for you. Week 1, college football. This is our college football preview. Also our week 1 preview. Let's start by going through the big games from this weekend, picked out just for you. We're going to skip ahead just a little bit to Saturday. 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern Time, big noon Saturday. Number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. I don't think it's too crazy to say. This is probably the first time ever that the number 1 team in the country is the underdog going into the first game of the season. The number 1 team in the country, the national title favorite, is the underdog, as Texas is 1.5 point underdogs against the Buckeyes at the Shoe. And I have a few different thoughts on this game. One, obviously, when it comes to the quarterback battle, Arch Manning has been the most hyped up quarterback we have seen in a while in terms of being the super recruit, the all-time super recruit. They spent like $100,000 just on the weekend where they were recruiting him to bring him to Texas. And he's played okay in the starts he's had as the quarterback at Texas, but he was not able to dethrone Quinn Ewers, who was a good quarterback. But when you have a guy of that caliber, you would expect him not to have to wait this long to become the starting quarterback at the college they pick, even though that college is Texas, who's pretty damn good under Steve Sark. If he is great, if he is everything we are being told he is, then Texas is a wagon. Absolute wagon. Wagon. And it's going to be tough to beat them at all this season. If they lose once in the regular season, you'd be surprised, which is crazy to say. And obviously anything can happen. It is college football. But if he is that good, it's going to be that hard to beat them. Now, if he's any less than that, he can still be good, but not be great. If he's just good, then things get interesting. That doesn't mean Texas can't win a national championship. We've seen teams win national championships with good quarterbacks, not great quarterbacks. However, it does make them a little bit more vulnerable. Now, on the flip side, Ohio State probably has the best offensive player in the country in Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver, and then the best defensive player in the country with Caleb Downs at safety. I mean, both sides are already stacked as it is. Ohio State maybe has the little nudge and really the wow factor when it comes to that kind of stuff. Now, looking at their weaknesses just a little bit, Ohio State right now is trying to replace an O-line. They have a fresh O-line coming into this year, not as much experience, while Texas has a kind of a fresh D-line coming in this year, not as much experience. And that's going to be an interesting matchup in the trenches to see how it goes down. Now, my prediction for this game, I think Texas ends up winning out. I think Arch shows up. I think the veteran O-line protecting him gives them the edge they need. Give me Texas money line in this game. Texas plus 1.5 if you don't want to go money line, but I'll always go Texas money line in this game, 100%. Now, jumping back to a game I will be at on Friday, Georgia Tech at Colorado. Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, obviously, thankfully, he's now cancer-free. There was obviously the news stories coming in there, and that does bring a little bit of the attention away from football, a little bit for Colorado, but bring it back onto Colorado football. You lose Shador and Travis Hunter, and that is pretty difficult to replace. You have two guys who were, one was one of the best quarterbacks in the country, the other one was a Heisman winner who had one of the most incredible seasons you'll see in a long time. Having said that, there's a reason why Coach Prime didn't hit the portal as hard in this last offseason. It's because he likes the talent on this roster. It's not as devoid of talent as he saw it as in the last 2 seasons. So you could see as much as they lost in the big name talent, they gained in maybe some of the more supporting pieces they bring in. Now for Georgia Tech, they bring back offensive firepower. And Haynes King in this offense has been known to really ram it down your throat running the football. Colorado at times had some difficulties last year. At times they were good. You see certain games like Kansas and Kansas State where they really hit Colorado over the head with running the football, and it killed them. It just killed them. But there were other times this last season that they were able to make some strides in run defense. If they can hold down the run defense in this game, it makes it that much more interesting. Georgia Tech is 4.5-point favorites. I will take Colorado to cover the 4.5. I know that, it's not great that they're starting Salter and they may platoon Juju Lewis in there. However, I do think Colorado comes in at home and keeps this thing close. I think they probably win this game. Obviously, I'm extremely biased on that. However, I think they at least keep it close. At the very least, they cover. I'll say that. Next up, number 9, LSU at number 4, Clemson. Clemson is a 3.5-point favorite. To be quite honest with you, neither of these teams deserve these rankings at all. For Clemson, obviously Dabo Swinney, we all know that he has refused to use the transfer portal for the most part, which, is whatever. He's still bringing in talent, but not filling in those cracks with the transfer portal hurts them. And for LSU, if there's a guy who has just let down and been consistently inconsistent over his tenure, it's been Brian Kelly. He's had his moments. He's had flashes. However, he's never been able to put it together all the way. There's a reason why you can feel the seat warming right now, the heat emanating and warming the seat of Brian Kelly down in Baton Rouge. And of course, this also comes back to their quarterbacks. Neither of these guys, I think, have been that incredible. I mean, obviously, Clemson and Klubnik made the playoff last year, but that was coming out of a weak ACC, a very weak ACC, or pretty weak ACC at least. And then Nussmeier and LSU have all the talent in the world around them, but they disappointed again last year. They had a couple okay wins. They beat Alabama, of course, but they still were not able to put together the seasons that you're expecting from them. And this is where, the talent is here for both these teams, but they're both underperforming in many ways. Now, I'll take Clemson minus 3.5 in this game because LSU and Brian Kelly have been notorious for laying an egg in these early season matchups. And this game being at Memorial Stadium, Clemson, South Carolina, just puts that even more to the advantage of Clemson. I'll give it to Clemson right now, minus 3.5. Finally, number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. Notre Dame is 2.5-point favorites. The Catholics versus convicts rivalry gets renewed once again. For Miami, we were talking about Brian Kelly, not delivering, but at least people have been pointing that out. Mario Cristobal is a guy who has not been delivering for a while now, and we haven't pointed that out really at all for the most part. I mean, outside of that win against Florida to start the season last year, what has he really done at Miami? Not much. With a lot of talent that he's brought in, he ain't done all that much. And last year, they go 10-3. They don't make the ACC championship game. They probably should have been 7-5 overall. 3 different games, they were bailed out by refs pretty blatantly. games against Georgia Tech where they disallowed the Hail Mary, game against Cal where they did not call a blatant targeting call that would have ended the game, and then the game against Louisville where they called back a scoop and score that was pretty clearly good. And now, they have them ranked number 10 in the country. They bring in Carson Beck at quarterback. And, congrats, I guess. He was good at Georgia, but not consistent enough to bring them anywhere. I think he was good because the people around him at Georgia were good and he had great coaching at Georgia. There's not the same consistency and coaching at Miami that makes me think he's going to be good at Miami. So give me Notre Dame in this game. I mean, last year was a huge jump forward, a gigantic jump forward for this Notre Dame team and Marcus Freeman. I mean, yeah, they lose NIU in that second game, and after that, they zoom forward. They nearly win a national title. They have probably the best running back in the country in Jeremiah Love. Give me Notre Dame to cover the 2.5 there at Miami. Now, let's move on to our college football preview. Before we do that, I want to touch on one small story here. Ohio State apparently banning Dave Portnoy. So apparently it's not an official ban. It's more like Ohio State said to Fox, who is now partnering with Portnoy and Barstool, hey, we don't want Portnoy around. We don't want him around. We don't want him with sideline passes. He talks trash about us all the time. Keep him out of here. It continues a pattern of Charmin extra softness from the Ohio State Buckeyes and Ohio State in general and the state of Ohio in general. My goodness. Are you kidding me? They make it illegal to plant a dang flag at the stadium because they got embarrassed against Michigan last year. And you do this, you're just begging for people to make fun of you. You're just bringing this on yourself instead of, just being tough and taking it. Being a good loser, people say whatever about being a good loser, but taking it and then making it happen on the field later on and said, no, you just freak out because things don't go your way. Just ridiculous, dumb stuff. It just opens you up to ridicule more and more. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. If I were Fox, I would say, screw that. You're going to put away millions of dollars here? Get out of here. No, he's coming. Be serious. You're going to have Urban Meyer on set. Relax. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. Ohio State, be better, I guess. Now, moving on to the college football preview. I'm going to go conference by conference, give you my conference championship game, give you my final 12 there in the playoff, give you the playoff predictions here going forward. In the SEC championship game, Texas versus Florida. Ooh, yes, Florida. Texas, I think, is a wagon. But I think Florida this year has brought in so much talent under Billy Napier. I think last year was a real turning point for Florida and Billy Napier. And I think DJ Lagway is one of the less talked about power quarterbacks in the country going into this year. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams and come out of an SEC that maybe isn't as strong as some people think. But I think Texas wins that SEC championship game overall. In the Big Ten, Ohio State versus Penn State. I think there's a little bit of overhype going on right now with Penn State being number 2 in the country. And I think in this game, clearly, I think it ends up being Ohio State that wins it. Penn State's extremely talented, good coaches. They're not getting over the hump. They'll make the playoff, sure, now that they've expanded 1,000 times. But in a rational society, no. They wouldn't make the playoff. And I'll save that for the end, by the way. But Ohio State wins the Big Ten. In the ACC, Clemson versus Boston College. Yes, I love what Bill O'Brien is doing there at BC. I think they end up being a surprise in the ACC, but Clemson still has the talent. Even though I think Clemson is overrated, I think they're still the best that you got out of the ACC. Give me Clemson to win the ACC. Out of the Big 12, Kansas has a bounce back year this year. I think Jalen Daniels, is going to be a Heisman contender this year versus, you're going to hate me, Colorado. I'm sorry. I think the talent level has gone up. I think the schedule favors them. especially early in the season when they can get momentum going and get the offense moving. If they beat Georgia Tech in that first game, they have a decent shot of being 4-0 to start the season when they really get into the meat and potatoes of Big 12 play. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, but if they can find their way, even if they lose against Georgia Tech, I think that, they can find their way in those first 4 games and then make a move going on the rest of the season. I think they can do that, but I think Kansas ends up winning that game in Arlington. In the MAC, NIU versus Miami, Ohio, everyone everywhere is talking about Toledo. I love what Miami, Ohio has done, and this is NIU's last year. NIU has run this conference over the last decade. Let NIU get their last hurrah, and they're going to get their last hurrah winning the MAC this year. The Mountain West, Boise State versus Air Force. Air Force, a couple years ago, we thought that they were going to be incredible. They've taken some steps back and step forward. I think this is the year where they take a step forward again, but they can't beat Boise State because Boise State is once again a wagon, and Boise State wins the Mountain West. In the American, they're calling themselves now the American Conference. I'll still call them the American Athletic Conference. Give me Tulane versus UTSA. Tulane, even without Willie Fritz last year, had a terrific season. And then UTSA, more and more, is proving themselves as a real contender in this. I remember when they first started winning football there at UTSA, but I think Tulane ends up winning that. In the Sun Belt, James Madison versus South Alabama, another school that I think, two schools, JMU, we all remember their transition to FBS, and then South Alabama, they kind of started a program not that long ago, and now they built it up nicely. I think they end up winning the Sun Belt. And then finally, Conference USA, Liberty versus Jacksonville State. Give me Liberty. They are a wagon program themselves. I'm saying wagon a billion times, but they're a really good program themselves. Give me Liberty. And it ends up being a playoff of number 1, Texas. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 4, Florida. Ooh, yes. Number 5, Michigan. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, Alabama. Number 8, Clemson. Number 9, Number 9, Kansas. Number 10, Boston College. Number 11, Colorado. And number 12, Boise State. The Boise State will be at Michigan in the first round game. Colorado will be at Penn State in the first round game. Boston College will be at Alabama in the first round game. And then finally, Kansas will be at Clemson. And then from there, I think Michigan ends up being Boise State. Excuse me. Penn State beats Colorado. Sorry, Colorado. Alabama beats Boston College, and Clemson beats Kansas beats Clemson in a upset there in Clemson, South Carolina. Then Texas beats Michigan. Penn State defeats Ohio State. Notre Dame defeats Kansas. Alabama defeats Kansas. Alabama defeats Notre Dame defeats Alabama. And then Kansas loses to Florida. Florida beats Kansas. And then it's Texas versus Florida. Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Texas wins. Notre Dame wins in some redemption. And then it's Texas Notre Dame the national title. And Texas wins it all. Like I said, even if Arch Manning is good, they could still win it all. And I think they do win it all. So there's my prediction, my preview. There you go. You can hold me to it. Finally, 2 things here. Number 1, I want to talk about Caleb Williams. I know this is a college football episode, but I want to talk about it for a second because I think he's getting some unfair stuff. And I saw something today that got me very worked up, extremely worked up about Caleb Williams, my guy, Caleb Williams. And you can say all you want. Last year was okay, not that great. The preseason has been up and down. There's been some mediocre stuff coming out of training camp, whatever. When you have Jason McIntyre taking over for Colin Cowherd on his show, making claims like, beat writers are talking about Caleb Williams is in danger of being replaced as starter. What? Huh? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I have not seen one beat writer, not a single frickin' beat writer, say anything like that. Nothing like that. What, are you kidding me? What world, what planet are we living in now where we're just allowing, people, we're just, when you go on national television and you say nonsense coming out of nowhere, you can't even say you have an anonymous source where you say this stuff. No. You're just pulling stuff out of thin air. And I've seen Coward do it too, but come on, give me a break. It was one of those things where I didn't see people calling it out. I'm like, why are you not calling it out? Who is saying this? Give me names. Give me names. They ain't giving me names. Ridiculous. Insane. Terrible. We're going to do our NFL preview next week. I'm staying, as a Bears fan, I'm staying, right here on the Bears. I'm not getting myself too excited about it, but give me a break. No one's talking about Caleb Williams getting benched. No one in the world is talking about it. Jason McIntyre. And if someone is, cite your sources, man. Cite your sources. Please, for my sake. For my sake. Finally, one more rant. As we get into college football season here, I want to bring something up that people are going to hate. It's a take that people hate for the most part, but it's the truth. I understand why people like the playoff, the 14 playoff, the 12-team playoff, stuff like that, but we're getting a little too far into the weeds. I believe it was somewhere in the news that the Big Ten was talking about a 2018 playoff or something like that. What? Huh? We have sacrificed so damn much for this playoff and for this, for the almighty dollar and for new contracts and all this stuff. We've destroyed historic rivalries, all these things. And I have an opinion, a take here. We were better off in the BCS, much better off in the BCS, 1,000 times better off in the BCS. Why? There's no reality. There's no reality where Ohio State should have been the national champions last year. None. Zero. That should have ended the moment they lost to Michigan. Nothing. No chance. When you put it into a tournament format, then it's like, well, then talent wins out. But it's not. People don't understand this. It is not the most talented team or even the best team, quote unquote, that wins the national title. No, it's the most deserving team. And yes, the most deserving team. You could be incredible, amazing, and you beat a bunch of great teams, but then you foul up in a couple of games, and you're not a national champion. I'm sorry. Just because you're super talented and you're great coaches and stuff like that doesn't mean you performed well enough to be the national champions. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't. And listen, am I saying the BCS system was perfect? No, it wasn't. There are ways to improve it. But this idea that we need to do these crazy tournament playoff stuff is just ridiculous. And if you really want a playoff, keep it at the 4 teams. Keep it at the 4 teams, and we can go from there. But instead, we're expanding, and college football keeps being destroyed. The traditions we love will be destroyed more and more for the almighty dollar, for the benefit of ESPN and Fox. And I gotta say, the people that are going along with it, shame on you. Just gotta say it. And listen, I'm not saying you're bad people or anything, but in the world of college football, if you know anything about tradition, the tradition that makes college football great, the things that make college football great as a sport, we're trying to wipe that away so that way we can polish it off and sell it to a television audience and make things better. But did you see that USC is paying Michigan every single year now? Great, man. We destroy all these rivalries so that way Fox can have more things to talk about on TV, so they can sell better matchups during the regular season. Thanks. Yeah, we're not going to play any of these great games anymore because now, Fox and ESPN want it their way. I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to love it. I'm still going to give my predictions. I'm going to watch all the games because I still love college football. But I'm warning you, it's getting worse and worse. And we're going to see college football disappear more and more. And yes, NIL and stuff like that are contributing to it. But to me, you could keep NIL and stuff like that and do paying players and stuff like that and all that stuff and still keep college football traditions going overall. I think that this playoff stuff is much more harmful, and the TV stuff is much more harmful for the future of college football than anything to do with the transfer portal or anything to do with NIL. Seriously. Legitimately. Just saying. In any case, folks, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TommySGAHAN. I'm going to be doing TG's quick picks coming up throughout the weekend, giving you quick picks. So make sure to smash that like button on this video and subscribe to those to Twitter specifically, because that's where I'm going to put out the picks. Just saying. Please do it. And leave a comment and subscribe and all that stuff. And thank you all for watching. My name is Tommy Gann. Very happy to be back with all of you. College football's back. I am excited, very excited. No matter how I rant, no matter how I rave, I still love college football. And I love you. And thank you for watching Tommy Talk. See you guys.